Greetings, greetings, conscious entrepreneurs. You're tuned into the Mind of an Entrepreneur show live IG special series that we've been doing on and highlighting Black Muslim businesses. And today we got a very, very special guest for you today. So I'm jumping on a few minutes early to give y'all time to get in the room before my sister gets here. We're going to be talking to Sister Miriam Muhammad. She's the CEO of ABC I Love Me. And this discussion is going to be powerful. I'm already claiming it. That is our intention. And so, wa alaikum salam, Brother Jamil. So we cannot wait until our sister is here. So she is here. We're going to give it a couple minutes, sis, to let people come into the room before we get on and start having this powerful conversation. You listen, I'm just telling y'all, buckle up, get ready. Because I've been thinking about this ever since Sister Rahima told me about my sister's business. First of all, I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, I know her. And I said, wait a minute, I know her for real, I know her. And then Sister Rahima and Sister Kudisa, they sent me all the information, and I said, hey, let's get on, let's talk to my sister, let's promote her business. That's what we do here at the Black Muslim Business Directory, at the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. We support, cheer on, and show the world the power of our businesses as Black Muslims. And so this is very, very, very important to me. It's part of my life mission, the Mind of an Entrepreneur movement, showcasing the power and the beauty of our businesses. And people don't even know. They have no idea the amount of talent, the amount of intelligence, and the valuable businesses that we have in our community. And it's my goal to showcase this. So while we're letting a few people get on, I just want to remind you all to go out and get your commemorative Elijah coins. If you already got one, I ask you to please get another one. You can help us by supporting the renovation and the restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad by purchasing one of these coins for a simple $375. All you have to do is go to sajdahhouse.com. That's SAJDAHHOUSE. Okay. Put in the discount code HEM4847, and that is going to get you this collector's item. But most importantly, it's going to help you to be able to say to your children's children, I was a part of the Elijah Muhammad House Museum. And we're going to find a way to enshrine the names of every single person that supported us by way of a coin, by way of sponsorship. You already know how your name is going to be enshrined. But every person who purchases a coin and helps to contribute to this great cause will be enshrined for as long as that house is there. And we've done a ton of work. And our goal is that that house will last another 100 years. So if you want to enshrine your name in history, get you one of these coins. Sajdahhouse.com, discount code HEM4847. Get it today. All right, I'm going to bring my sister on. Greetings, assalamu alaikum, everyone. She'll be on in a few minutes. Assalamu alaikum, Tanetta. Look at you.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so very much for the invitation to come on your platform. I'm so excited and honored to be here. Thank you so
I'm
very
honored
much.
to be speaking to you. I'm just grateful. I send my support and love to you and your family.
Thank you.
I am one of the mighty blessed and lucky MGT Vanguard who was trained by your mother. Okay.
Praise be to God.
Not
Yes,
only
ma'am.
that, sis, I'm one of the lucky few that was trained by your mother in conjunction with Sister Aisha and Sister
Praise be to
Instructors
God.
Donna Farrakhan Muhammad. So it's a
Praise.
lucky few group of us, and a lot of us are still here to this day doing great things. And when Sister Rahima showed me your business, I said, wait a minute. I said, I know her.
Mhm.
I
Yes,
know
ma'am.
her. I remember the pigtails sticking out the side of the headpiece when she was a baby.
Hmm. Yes,
I
ma'am.
remember
Yes,
her in
ma'am.
the MUI uniform. I'm so proud of you, and I just I just cannot say enough about what I see you evolving into and the woman that you have become. It is overwhelming for me, and
Praise
I don't mean to harp on that, but then I looked at the name of your company, ABC. I Love Me, and I'm gonna give you a chance to talk about the company. But you know what struck me with that was that you came up with a beautiful yet simple name that speaks into what we need, because there's so many of us that don't like each other. And
Yes, ma'am.
look at all the Vanguard on here going, look at me.
Praise be to Allah. Alaikum. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Because you were always right there while we was getting our training on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
But you
ma'am.
know, so this is what I want to ask you. First question, sis. There's so many of us that have accepted that our children are not going to love themselves. We've accepted that we don't love ourselves and haven't loved ourselves. How much of that is a product of Yakub's world that we're working to absorb and overcome versus just part of living as and growing as a child into adulthood?
I think that's an excellent question. Very deep question. Thank you so much. I think that the process of self-love and self-esteem and accepting ourselves and who we are and who we're born to be is a lifelong journey. So
Mm-hmm.
ABC I Love Me is just a hopefully a stepping can give a strong foundation the
Mm-hmm.
parents can give to their children to help provide a boost for them in life, to
Mm-hmm.
give them that strong foundation before they leave to go off to school or daycare or wherever that may be for them to love themselves. And when I speak of a journey, we know that learning starts in the womb. It starts in the home. Our mothers, our first teachers, or whoever our guardian, whether that's a grandparent or, someone else, whoever nurtures us has that responsibility to pour into us a level of self-acceptance and self-love. And sometimes I think that that comes along later. We aren't as intentional as parents about that because sometimes in our community we're so focused on those basic needs that we
Mm-hmm.
don't focus on the emotional needs and well-being of our children. And hopefully this book, among so many other authors and books out there, and there's music we can play for our children, there's art and so many things. Of course, a love of God and religion and spirituality, but even for those who don't come from that or don't subscribe to that, we all need to love and accept ourselves. And it starts early. And I think, and I know that that's where this, my company was born from.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answered
No,
your question.
it does, because it's so important that not only do we instill that love in our children, because like you said, and so many in the chat have said, that it's a lifelong journey. And I don't
Mhm.
know that we realize that. I think we tend to beat ourselves up because we go through life and there's certain things about ourselves that we don't like, especially as we start to change and go through puberty, and then we become an adult and maybe we haven't
Absolutely.
accomplished the things that we wanted to accomplish. And so we're just mad at ourselves all the time. And I don't
Mhm.
know that we understand what that energy does to us and how that further impedes our success. And so that's why I'm so grateful for your work, because teaching our babies that muscle, that emotional muscle of loving themselves at a very early age, is paramount to their development and to the development of our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just feel that, we have to be intentional about self-love
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that when our children run into bullies later in life or at school or wherever, that's going to happen. There
Right.
will be people who, just like we deal with people in the workplace or out and about, who don't love themselves and try to project that onto us. So
Hmm.
our children will deal with bullies, whether it's, someone trying to bully them or, they don't feel good about themselves. So they might in turn become a bully. So
Hmm.
hopefully when you teach self-love, the idea is that when you teach self-love and self-confidence, children will love themselves enough that when they meet someone who is hateful and hurtful, that those words will not penetrate. They will affect them, but they won't penetrate.
Hmm.
Um, and they won't start saying, am I ugly? Am I not smart? No, I know who I am. I know I'm a God. I know I'm smart. I know I'm intelligent.
Right.
And it is what it is. No, you're jealous. You
You
don't
can't
love
take that
yourself.
from
You
me. That's
know,
for sure.
right. You can't take that from me. And I
Hmm.
thank a lot for my parents. I thank a lot for my mom, who you mentioned earlier, Sister Sharifa Muhammad, and my father, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad. They instilled that within their children, a love of self and a knowledge of self. Growing up in the Nation of Islam is just such a blessing that you have not only knowledge of self, but knowledge of God and knowing that you are a part of God.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's actually one of the affirmations in my book, that you are a divine creation, a part of God. And I think that's so important for children to understand that they are a part of God.
Hmm.
You are divine. You are so very important. And it's never too early to impart and instill that message in children.
That's beautiful. You mentioned your parents. We all thank Allah for your parents. It's important that you know that we thank Allah for you and your work. We thank Allah for your parents. And there's people in the chat here debating over whether or not you look like your brother, your mother, or there's some other person here, his name is Jamil, claiming you look a little bit like him too.
Of course, I look like Uncle Jamil, Uncle Chip. Of course, I look like you, Uncle Chip.
We give him
But
we
I
gave him a
thank
little few
you.
percentage.
Yes, I thank you for acknowledging the work of my parents because without them, this would not be possible. Without their support and their love and just my upbringing, definitely shaped the way that I wanted to rear my son, Maz, who is now in first grade. But when
Mhm.
I published the book in 2018, and he was still a baby, and it came out of the things that I wanted to teach him and instill in him. And I was doing affirmations and speaking life
Mhm.
over him. And I'm like, this is something I wish was in a book. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
well, if I don't see it, then I need to create it. And that's kind of,
That's what I
where
was
it
going
came.
to ask you. How did you get there? But then the next question, as you just spoke on that, was what did teaching self-love to your child do for you?
It's definitely served as a reminder that I need to revisit my affirmations as well and pour into myself as well. Because when I'm saying these affirmations that are, for him, I'm actually affirming myself as well.
Mhm.
So it's been mutually beneficial. So parents, when you're reading to your children, there's no, period behind learning. I love, love, love. And my husband would tell you when we first started courting, we would go to the bookstore, for dates, and I would go straight to the children's section. I love children's books. I love
Mhm.
picture books and imagery, and that has always stuck with me. And I would just go and just find, positive messages and books and stuff from my childhood, and it would just lift my tone scale and lift my spirit and my mood. And so I encourage parents to, as you pour into your children, accept that for yourself too. It feels good to hear those affirming words. And so,
Mhm.
just to answer your question in short, it's been very beneficial for me to, as I teach him confidence and self-esteem, it's been a reminder to myself. It's like I'm teaching
Mhm.
myself too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And just being very careful with the things that I say and make sure I'm not
Mm.
criticizing myself, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't like to sound like this. Well, I don't want him to hear that, so then I shouldn't be thinking those things either. So it's definitely served as a reminder for myself as I strive to instill self-esteem and confidence within him.
You know why that's so beautiful, sis, is because some of us think of just intelligence as being cognitive intelligence. I read
Mhm.
to you, I teach to you, but you mentioned that as you started to develop you wanted to work on your own thoughts about yourself, because believe it or not, there's also that vibrational intelligence that children
Absolutely.
pick up on. And so what's
Absolutely.
going on in your brain and in your mind, people can feel that. It's not just the children, but especially with a child and her mother, that connective relationship,
Mm,
they learn from you vibrationally as well. So that's why I think this is so amazing. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to put out a pictorial book for adults.
oh, I love it. I'm
You
going to
know,
write that down. I love it.
that
I
too. I
love
think
it.
I think if your company came up with, a book, but it was pictures for adults,
Mm, I
maybe
love it
maybe
because I
illustrate
enjoy
them
picture
differently.
books.
Yeah,
Yes, I enjoy picture books. So that's an excellent idea. Thank you
yeah.
for that.
I think there's
I
I
definitely.
actually have a couple that came out of the Middle East. There's a book called I think it's called Habiballah. It's a
Mm,
it's basically a picturesque novel, a picture novel.
I have to
So
look at that.
I don't have it near me, but it's about that thick, and it's a novel, but it's told in pictures, like a big comic book.
Oh wow. Oh wow. I have to definitely look for that. I love it because I love picture books. I don't think you ever get too old or whatever to enjoy, if something's good literature, it's good literature.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Mm,
So tell us about your background. I know you got into this because you thought about your son as you were
mm.
speaking and blessing him as he grew up. But how did you really get into it? And tell us about your professional background.
Okay, so my professional background, I have a bachelor's of arts degree in psychology, and I have
Hmm.
my master's in community counseling. And
Hmm.
so a lot of my work predominantly has been with men and women, teenagers and children, and families who have been affected by substance abuse and mental
Hmm.
illness. So I work with adults who have been duly diagnosed with substance abuse and mental illness, and in dealing with going into the community and into the homes and dealing with the parents, of course, what's going on with the parents affects the children. And
Hmm.
you can just, before I would even have a session with the children or the family, you can just see in their eyes the hollowness, the hurt,
Hmm.
the brokenness, the sadness. And,
Hmm.
before we, of course, dealing with bullying, sometimes in our dysfunction, in our broken homes, and with so much going on, we don't realize that we can become our children's first bully. We
Hmm.
can become so absent-minded that we don't realize that we're setting them up to be prey for bullies, to be prey for all kind of
We're
predators
conditioning
out
them, huh, for
there.
being bullied.
Absolutely. And
Ah.
that's why, when in broken homes, and when I speak of broken homes, I'm not speaking of divorced parents. I'm speaking of the dysfunction that can exist, whether it's substance abuse or physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, all the things that, happen. Sometimes we treat it like the children aren't even there, and they're
Hmm.
soaking it all up. They're taking it all in.
Hmm.
And that's why I have been on such a crusade to make sure that my books are in libraries, are in classrooms, because even if you don't get that from home, I believe that God always sends an angel to protect our children, or someone along the way who will give them what they need. And I feel like if I provide my book in all different types of shelters for battered women, and just if I have my book in all these different spaces and barbershops and things like that, then the message will land where it needs to
Hmm.
land. And
Yeah.
so that has just been my goal. And it's just been such a blessing to see how this book and my company has taken flight by God's grace and permission. That, so many people tell me that, oh, it's my child's favorite book, or this is the affirmation that they love the best, or,
Hmm.
I can't read anything else. They just want to read your book every night.
Hmm.
And it just brings joy to my heart, because something that started, just as something that I wanted to do for my
Hmm.
son, I
Hmm.
feel like has grown so much. And I'm just so grateful for that.
Yeah,
So
I'm just soaking in your beauty and your intellect. I just see God
thank
coming all through you. I see your
thank you so
picture
much.
books in women's shelter, your picture books about women,
Mm,
because I know you can write about women's struggle,
yeah,
because the work,
absolutely.
the
That's
work of, I mean, you're a woman yourself, but the work of your mother in and of itself, and she was such a, phenomenal trainer, and there's so many of us that were connected, and I see that in you, because one thing I would say about her, and people in the chat can bear me witness, when you went to her with a problem as a young woman, she kept it real.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't keep it real, she would make you get real.
Absolutely.
Always,
Absolutely.
yeah, she always came off the pivot of self-love.
Mm-hmm.
She would
Absolutely.
start off, I remember specifically talking to her about a problem, and she started off, "Sister, do you know who you are?
Mm.
Do
That's my
you know the
mama.
work you're doing for
Yeah.
our leader?" And she always went in with that
Mm-hmm.
self-love. And I see Sister Letha there said, always, bullseye, always, always. And so you are walking through and carrying forward her legacy with your beauty, your love, with the way that you are encouraging people with self-love. And I can bear witness that I'm not even at all surprised to see that this is your gift. And I think if you go forward with this, and we'll talk about other things that your company's doing, you you got an angel that who don't play when it comes to that self.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. I
Mhm.
appreciate those words. And I just want to thank you because I was talking to my sister Naima and I was telling my brother Josh, I was like, Sister Wendy, I was like, Sister Sajdah, like I was like, it's so good to see her. And I was like, she
Mhm.
reached out to me. But I thank you for always seeing me as a young girl because I remember I was always at the mosque, just
Always,
bothering everybody in their offices while they were working, while my parents
always.
were working. And you just always were so welcoming. And I remember going on errands with you. And I remember one particular time you were like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, I get to go with you. And then my parents, they didn't let me just go with anybody. So the fact that I had permission to go with then Sister Wendy,
Yeah.
to run errands and like then we went to your house, which was so
Hmm.
beautiful. I can still remember the view and everything. And I was just like, thank you for seeing me because sometimes we treat children like they're invisible. They're just there in the background. But I feel like you truly saw me and you were always so kind and
Oh,
so warm. So when you reached out, it was just so, I was like, oh, it was so good to see you. And it's so good to have this
praise,
conversation with
praise
you.
be to Allah. I just, like I said, I see your beauty, and I don't, in my opinion, you all are our future. You all have in you everything you need. And I look at when I started doing, I'll tell you a story, Miriam. It's funny you mentioned that, because when I wrote my first book, I wrote it for professional business women like myself. And I specifically was thinking about, women that come out of the teachings like we do, and we're branching out into the world, trying to make a name for ourselves, and just some of the things that we go through just as professionals, just trying to figure stuff out. You're trying to figure out, how do I look? How do I dress? How do I present myself? How do I make sure I'm accepted while still being myself? All these things. But who embraced the book was those little girls and boys just like you were back in the day.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, just all the youth started saying, no, no, we got you, Sister Wendy. At that time, I was Sister Wendy. And they were like, we got you. We got the book. And I started running into parents saying, my daughter has your book. My son has your book. But that was all Allah. And as
Mhm.
I've been on this journey to even now reclaiming the home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and restoring and renovating it, I realize more and more each day, and you just help me further realize that we of ourselves are nothing. I
Mhm.
of myself am nothing. I didn't plan that. I just thought, oh, I think I would take you out. It'd be Sister Nur Fasha, Nudia.
Mhm.
It would be Mariam,
Mhm.
Brother Lewis and Liesl's daughter. We just, Jamila, Sister Claire's
Mhm.
daughter, so it just was one of those things. And I thought about that, and I said, look at how Allah puts people together, and we don't even know why. There's a little touch and a little connection, and we have no idea. I saw your
Mm.
brother speak on the rostrum and I almost fell out
Yeah,
because not in a bad way, but just of gratitude. And then thinking, look at how Allah touches people. So I think we should all think about people that we can impact. My goal is to always be an asset. You paid me the greatest compliment by saying, way back then when you were a little girl, I was an asset to you. And so I'm grateful.
absolutely.
And I pray that I can continue to be an asset to you and to your family. And I want to learn more about your company. So let's tell the audience about what other things, aside from the picture book, that picture books you're going to do. What else is your company doing?
Right. So we have ABC I Love Me, the book that we talked about, the picture
Yep.
book, which is available on Amazon. ABC I Love Me, the coloring book, which an
Mhm.
activity book, which is also on Amazon as well. I love doing story times in the days of COVID. Most of my story times that I've done for different sororities, my sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and I've worked with some of the fraternities as well,
Mhm.
and via Zoom, doing story times for some of the initiatives that they're doing. So I do live story reads. I look forward to getting back in the classroom. I miss
Mhm.
the hugs and everything, but
Mhm.
safety first. So
Oh.
I do those things virtually. So if anybody is interested in inviting me to,
Mhm.
read, I do those things as well. We do birthday parties, events, whatever is needed at this time. I'm also
Wait,
working on.
that's a novel idea. Talk about the birthday parties.
Yeah, so I've had parents reach out to me, like my children love your book. Could you come and read for them? Absolutely. I will come and read the book and also provide an activity so read from ABC I Love Me and provide an activity from the ABC I Love Me coloring book. And we'll talk about self-esteem, do some chants and songs and things of that nature as well. I've been doing a lot of that virtually within the last year, and it's
Okay.
actually gone over very well. I do in person, of course, masked up safely and all those
Mhm.
things. I was blessed to read at Mother Khadijah's Children's Village this year, and that was such an honor and a
Mhm.
privilege to be a part of that and to read to the children in the Nation of Islam and just the community in general. I was just so, because I love the Children's Village. Even before I
Yeah.
had a child, I used to go to the Children's Village because that's where the energy was. That's where, the music and just you get to see
Mhm.
so many people at Savior's Day and just feel, the
Mhm.
love. I just love vending in the Children's Village, of course, outside of the keynote address are
Sure,
my
sure.
favorite.
Yeah.
And so to be invited to read at the first virtual Savior's Day in our history was definitely a privilege and an honor. So
Mhm.
that's mainly what I've been working on. I have some other books, children's books in the works, and you put an assignment
Mhm.
on me. And so
Mhm.
I look forward to following up with you about that
That's gonna be a
as well.
bestseller. I'm telling you, those adult picture books. Can you just think about it? Think about a book that you created and it went to women's shelters or to troubled women, and it
Mhm,
was a picture book, and you just kind of talk to them about their worth and
mhm,
about the way they should love themselves and
mhm.
how that love will transform and release them from whatever abusive or predatory behaviors that they're a part of or abuse that they're experiencing. But if it's a picture book
I love it. I
and it's
love that.
for adults, because sometimes we're visual, and I think we adopt this sort of single intellectual approach to problems based on the world that we live in. But when you can see something, you can pick
Mhm.
it up vibrationally, you can read something. I mean, what better way to learn and to transform?
I love it. I think that's an excellent
My
idea.
nephew just joined, and I'm gonna get a couple of your books for his son, because
Awesome. Thank you.
we want to make sure. So give the website out before we're gonna continue talking, but I want people to have time to have it.
Okay, so if you would like to find out about me and what I'm doing and what I'm working on, you can follow me on Instagram at ABC I Love Me _. to purchase my products, the best way and the fastest way is on Amazon. If you would like me to autograph them for you, you can message me on Instagram. You can find me also on Facebook, author Miriam, Miriam Muhammad, um, on Facebook and or Instagram. And I respond to messages pretty quickly within 24 to 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You can email me through my Instagram page if you have questions, whatever. I love signing books and I always throw in a few freebies for the children. If
Mm-hmm.
you are Amazon Prime member, you can get your book overnight, really, really fast, really quick. If you would like to order the book wholesale, you can contact me and we can work that out as well. So,
That's beautiful. That
yeah,
is beautiful. We have to start taking our own education back into our own hands. Not only for
absolutely.
the education of our children, but as adults, our adult education as well. I see you, you know, people bringing you on, and this is for anybody out there who watches this video. If you're looking for a consultant on how to instill self-love into children, I suggest you contact my sister. If you're looking for somebody to sit on your board, if you've got a recreation center, if you've got a nonprofit, if you've got a school, this is the kind of person you want on your board because she's not caught up in the technical aspect of educating people. And so she's going to bring that balance. I'm talking about you like you ain't here, but I'm the commercial. She's going to bring that
I
balance
appreciate it.
to your board of advisors or your board of directors to help
Mhm.
ensure that as you're delivering your technical services, that you're including love, not only of the children, but teaching them self-love as well. So that's the
Absolutely.
commercial.
Thank you for that commercial. I love it. I love it. I love it. I appreciate it. And I think a lot of times people forget that, it's easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men. And that is what Frederick Douglass said. And I just love, love, love that. And I remind myself of that. Like when I'm working with children, when I'm working with my nieces and nephews, when I'm working with my own son, that that's so important that we understand that we have to actively be intentional about building strong children and being preventative
Mm-hmm.
because, later in life, that's an intervention and that's something else that I do, but it's more difficult when you're dealing with adults
Mm-hmm.
first who have never had that love and have never self-love, confidence, what is that,
Mm-hmm.
who don't have that foundation. So definitely, I think we need to be more intentional about pouring love into ourselves so that we
Mm-hmm.
are able to pour love into our children as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many resources now that are available that weren't available for necessarily our parents
Right.
as well. So
Right. So tell me about those interventions. During those interventions, are you saying that you've noticed that the root of a lot of that is lack of self-love?
absolutely, lack of self-love, lack of confidence, and a lot of our pain and trauma that we deal with as adults, we can't trace it back. We don't understand. We don't have the
Mm,
tools, but it's rooted in our childhood upbringing and our childhood traumas. And
mm-hmm,
so I think that if we can understand the importance of building strong children and building those foundations and not just saying that I prayed over them, I prayed with them, and that's beautiful. It's necessary, and it is a foundational
mm-hmm,
thing. But we also have to talk to your children. Just ask them, what do you love about yourself?
mm,
See what they say. They might not be able to come up with anything, and that would be shocking and devastating to you. And that's not a shot at your parenting or anything. It's just wow. It's just something that now it's time to let's do some intervention. What do you love about yourself? Let me tell
mm-hmm,
you what I see. And I want you to look in the mirror and let's do
mm-hmm,
some affirmations and let me tell you what you see. And then just talk to them because people talk to children so early and say ignorant things. I can recall things that people said to me as a child, and then I'm like, what? Like that didn't feel right. Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think, even if it was said with a smile or something, like I think that was shade. Our children
mm-hmm,
are smart that they understand,
You
but
knew it was
also
shade,
so,
even though it.
yeah, they know what it is. And so, my mom, she gave us the tools to clap back. She told, she taught us how to defend ourselves physically and verbally.
Hmm.
And so we want our children to have the confidence to do that. Because if you don't feel good about yourself, it's just going to land whatever is said to you, and you're going to absorb that and internalize it. And so that's why it's important that we talk to our children, because they might not just come home from wherever and say, this is what so and so said, or this is what so and
Hmm.
so did. But when they have that emotional intelligence, they know this person said this, mom, and it made me feel like this. And
Yes.
this is how I responded to that,
Hmm.
you know. So I
That's a
think that
beautiful tool. My mom was like that too, a lot like your mother in terms of she taught us to defend ourselves. And now
hmm
jokes that when we're around, if somebody get out of pocket, she don't even have to worry because my
exactly.
brother gonna handle them. And my nephews, we don't play when it comes to that. Like you're not gonna tear us down
hmm
at the expense of trying to make us look bad because something's wrong with you. And I'm
Right.
like that if with other people. I think that's why when I would see the children on the property, I know that everybody is not healthy. I'm like, come on, y'all, let's go do something.
Mm,
Let's have Brother Aaron bring us some food. Remember we used to eat those
right.
sprout sandwiches from Brother Aaron's shop?
Oh yes, your produce market.
Yeah.
I
Brother Aaron
remember.
he was making paninis before that was even popular.
Wow.
If
Yep.
I think when I think back on the sandwiches, I thought about this the other day when I saw him. I said, you were making paninis. Now paninis are all popular, but
Mhm.
you
Absolutely.
so we have
Yeah, I
so
love
much
your
rich,
produce.
beautiful history.
I thank Allah for it so,
Hmm.
so much. And I thank Allah for the synchronicity that brought us together. And when you reached out to me and I saw your face, and I'm like, oh my God, Sister Wendy. And I'm like, wait, Sister Tasha. Like, but it was just only good memories, and a warm feeling came over me because you've just always been so kind and so wonderful that I wish you nothing but success, even more success,
Thank
continued success and happiness. And I thank you again for the opportunity to come on and promote ABC I Love You.
Absolutely. Let's make sure we stay connected. I know we
Yes, ma'am.
are all always busy, but Allah reconnected us for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so let's stay connected and allow him to unfold and tell us why we connected in the first place.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes, ma'am. I look forward to that.
Absolutely. And please give your love to my family. And
I
before
will.
we go, I want you to give your websites and stuff again because
Okay.
everybody knows a child. You know somebody. Let's boost her sales for today. Go to her website, go to Amazon, get the book, get 2 or 3 of them. I'm sure they don't cost that much. You're going to waste that on
Nine
coffee.
ninety nine.
Okay, 9.99. So give the title of
Yeah.
the book and where they can get it and all of that.
ABC I Love Me, the children's picture book, and ABC I Love Me coloring book. They both are available on Amazon.com. Also, Books a Million. If you just Google ABC I Love Me, you'll see that there is sold wherever books are sold.
Come on, so
Also, you can
so
find me or you can find me on ABC I Love Me underscore at Instagram, ABC I Love Me underscore on Instagram. I love to connect with you. I follow back. I'm not bougie like that. You follow me, I follow you back. I love interacting and engaging. I love receiving pictures of children and your family with the book and the coloring book. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I love to connect with you. ABC I Love Me underscore on Instagram, and ABC I Love Me, Mary Muhammad on Facebook as well.
yes, ma'am. If there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. And
Yes,
inshallah, I will
same here.
see you when the museum gets open. I got to see your pretty face in the place.
I would love to come. Please, please keep me posted on
Uh,
those dates. I would love to come.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Please follow Sister Mimi. Well, I'm sorry. Let me use your adult name.
I'm Mimi.
You
Everybody,
still
I'm Mimi.
Mimi? Okay.
I'm Mimi.
Please follow her and support the Elijah Muhammad House Museum, also known as Sajdah House. Go to sajdahhouse.com. Put in the discount code HEM4847 to get your commemorative Elijah coin and support the independent development and monetization of our culture. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Love you, sis.
Peace and blessings. Love you more.
And
Thank you again.
give your love to the my love to the family.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Also.
Well,
And you do
assalamu
so.
alaikum.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.